to Füssen in Germany, just a few kilometers from the Austrian border. We're live for the World Curling Federation Olympic Qualification Event 2013. And of course, all the action is here at the BLZ Arena. Some beautiful scenery here, but this one's an optical illusion. It's inside the arena. Well, our featured game is going to be the women's draw 6, and the winless Italy playing against the perfect Chinese. 4-0 to China and 0-4 for Italy. Both these teams have had their bye already this week. 7-team competition in the women's event. And of course, just 2 spots available at the Olympic Games in Sochi in Russia in February. Well, the teams are just making their final preparations. We'll take a look at the lineups. Arianna Lozano playing lead stones for Italy. Sara Lavetti playing second. Elisa Batono playing third. And the skip, Veronica Zapponi. And the Chinese team, Yan Zhou playing lead. Jingshuang Yue playing second. Third player, Yin Liu. And of course the skip, Bing Yuang, completing the 2009 World Champion lineup. Well, this is the standings after 5 draws. China and Japan still perfect on 4-0. They'll play each other in their last game, and then Czech Republic, Germany and Norway all scrapping it out for that final spot in the playoffs, really. And there are 2 teams pretty much out of contention. Latvia have their bye here in draw 6. Czech Republic and Japan on sheet C, and Norway and Germany both on 2 wins on sheet D. A must-win game for Norway. And maybe, just maybe, they can scrape a tie-break to make the playoffs here in Füssen. So Italy will be playing the red stones and China playing the yellow. China do have the last stone in the first end. My name's Logan Gray and I'm joined by Daniel Herberg for the first time this week. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you very much.
What do you think we can expect from these 2 teams today, Daniel?
I think China is the better team, so they have got the hammer in the first end, so maybe they just go into the game, try to make pressure and score 2 in the first end. Just show the opponent that they are the better team on the ice.
Well, the Italian team, on the other hand, are much less experienced. They made their first senior international appearance at the Europeans in Stavanger just a couple of weeks ago. Of course, they were relegated to the B event for next year. This is Yan Zhou, the Chinese lead, 31 years old. Yeah, the Italians, it's going to be a bit of a learning curve for them this week, but their aspirations maybe slightly different from a lot of the other teams that are here. They're really just gaining a lot of experience this week, and I know one of their big goals for this season is to qualify Italy for the World Juniors. So slightly different objectives.
Anyway, I think it's a surprise that China is not already qualified for the Olympic Games.
Well, it certainly is. Myself and Mike Harris this week have talked a lot about their trials and tribulations over the last few years. Of course, had so much success over 2008, 9, 10, winning medals, winning the World Championships. And then all of a sudden just kind of went off the radar in 11 and 12. So a couple of poor performances, very few wins, very few Olympic points. And to find themselves here scrapping it out with the other 6 teams that are here. So a bit unexpected, but do you think it's fair to say that they've refound some form?
I think they look good, they look strong. I would say they are the team that has got the best chances to qualify out of these 7 teams that are here.
Well, it's definitely what we've seen this week is they just look at a far more superior team to the other 6 teams that are here. They're really head and shoulders above the rest, and it's not just from a shot-making standpoint. A couple of the other teams can make a whole heap of shots, but the strategy more than anything is coming down the stretch in the second half of the game, how they can control the scoreboard and put themselves in a winning position. Well, they would have maybe liked to roll towards the corner guard there, but
anyway, it's good that they played the corner guard. They want to get into the game quick, ignore the Italian rock that was in the house.
yeah, absolutely, and we've seen this all week long in the first end. Most of the teams are willing to mix things up in the first end, and it's been great for us. There's not been too many ends just run through. Sara Lavetti throwing second stones for Italy. Makes a nice nose hit. I've only really covered one of the Italian games so far when they played against Japan, and some of the shot making was, let's say, disappointing in the first half of the game. But it looks like they're, over the last couple of draws, they're starting to look a little bit more confident out there, a little bit more comfortable with this environment. Jingshuang Yue, China are choosing to ignore these two red stones and try and come around that corner guard.
Good call, offensive call, so early in the game.
Well, the nice thing for China at the moment that there isn't any risk really. There's no stones in the 8-foot circle, so they can afford to take a chance here with the hammer and try and get an early lead. That's the rules of play for the round robin. 6 ends minimum, 73 minutes for each team. That includes the running time of the stones and 1 coach interaction for each team. The clocks will continue to run as soon as the coach arrives on the scene.
The Italian second trying to play a soft takeout. Get by the guard. So the risk for China already paid out. The yellow one is still in the house.
We've not really seen a consistent lineup from the Italians this week even. Broncino, the alternates, actually played a couple of the games, and just changing things up once again for this round. Bringing Lavetti back into the lineup.
I think what is difficult for a young team, for a not that experienced team, is if you're always playing on club ice, on normal sheets, it's not curling that much. But if you're playing international, like Europeans, they did in Stavanger or here, you've got to curl for 1 meter, and that's really difficult, especially if you play the takeouts, because it makes a big difference if you play a little bit faster or a little bit slower. Means half a rock how you hit it. If you play on club ice, it's not that important. You will still hit it accurate enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just the shot making, is it, Daniel? It's also the strategy and knowing the shots that are available to your team and the opposition with the amount of curl on the ice. So here's Elisa Patono playing third stones, the 18-year-old. And Italy under a lot of pressure already here in this first end. So pushes that yellow through and lies in shot position.
Yin Liu, 32 years old, playing the third rocks for China.
Oh, so a mistake here. Yin Liu, tremendous shot maker, but only making a half shot on that occasion.
the Chinese rock is lying behind the guard, so no chance for Italy to play on that one directly. No takeout is possible, so they try to play a freeze.
Yeah, and it's never really an ideal situation when you don't have the last stone to be forced to go around the corner guards like this. It's always a lot of risk with not a lot of reward. And makes a nice shot there. The only problem perhaps for Italy was that they pushed that yellow onto a perfect freeze.
So you could try to get that one with a heck weight takeout. I think it would be possible. But Chinese is playing a freeze first. Be patient.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if they make this freeze, then they might well make a shot to remove that red a little bit easier for the future. Well, they won't want to push that onto the freeze, and that's a disaster, really. Lies in shot position, but that red's going absolutely nowhere now.
Nel senso non è un 70 più o meno T-line.
So maybe one good shot here, Daniel, and Italy out of trouble here.
Hit and roll. You can hit it nearly anywhere, but not inside. You can even roll out, would still be okay.
So here's Veronica's opponent, just 20 years old. So over curls a bit, but as you said, Daniel still leaves Italy in a good position to force here.
No, ho visto che l'avevi più te, però mi sembrava rimanesse dritta. Infatti ho detto un attimo, poi visto che però stava cadendo. Io l'ho mollata subito. Sì. No, ma
the Chinese girls looked if there's a chance for the double from the outside. Maybe would have been possible to play on the left one, but they decided to play the draw first.
Yeah, I don't think they really need to take that kind of risk. They've got an opportunity to make a deuce anyway by playing the out-turn draw here. So Bing Yuan, 29 years old. Well, I reckon the sweepers think this is maybe a little bit heavy out of hand. My Chinese isn't great though, so don't take that as gospel. Will it curl enough to hold the face here? It will do. Nice shot there by Bing Yuan.
Teoricamente passarci ci passo, però non rischiamo.
And now that's exactly the shot you don't like to play when you do not have last rock. Because if you play that perfect freeze, you're not lying short rock, so you have to lie inside. What is a difficult line at the end. Veronica Zappone playing the last shot for Italy in the first end.
Well, can the sweepers get this down there into shot position? It doesn't look that way. Comes up short, and it's going to be a straightforward draw for 2. I don't think they'll go after the double for 3.
Niklas Edin would do.
Well, I think part of this is knowing your opposition and knowing that they're probably playing against a slightly weaker team. They're playing against a team whose confidence is not going to be high after losing their first 4 games. You don't need to go after that double to try and score 3.
And it's dangerous, actually. If you don't hit it at the right spot, you can even push the red one to lie shot rock after yours. So maybe definitely the better idea to play the draw for 2. Bing Yuang, last stone in the first end. She already proved with her first one that she has got the right weight.
Well, the supers are going to really have to shift on this one. Oh, that's a poor attempt really by Bing Yuang. We've not really, I don't think we've really seen any stones on that intern line. So maybe a little bit of an odd choice, odd shot selection, but
I would not change the handle at the turn with the last shot. If you play the whole end with the out turn in the first end.
Absolutely agree, Daniel. So it's going to be just a score of 1 for China in the first end. And 1 end played here is China 1, Italy 0. Ball into the second end. And China getting things underway. And the calling top 4. So maybe they're quite willing to be reasonably patient here to start the game.
Maybe they would also expect the opponent to play a corner guard. But Italy decides to play the takeout.
Yeah, and maybe the problem with this even this early on, you don't really need to think about the scoreboard too much, but if you run this end through, you blank the second end, then you're putting yourself on having last stone on the odd ends rather than the even ends. So I'm sure that's maybe part of Bing Yuang's thinking there in throwing the top 4 instead of a tight guard. We really heard earlier on today in the morning draw, 8 AM start. Really enjoyed that start. We heard at halftime Marcel Rock really hammering it into Bing Yuang at the halftime break that they've got the hammer in the 6th end. They're only 1 shot behind. Make sure they score in the even ends and they'll be absolutely fine. And that's what they did. They saw the game through, and despite a good performance from Italy, China chalked up their 4th victory. Okay, so the forefoot is now open. And now Italy quite happy to throw a corner guard.
Good plan.
Well, maybe get a little bit of an indication of what China are trying to achieve in this end with this call. Yeah, they're not really interested in forcing 1 here. just want to peel the guard and run the end through. Here's Marianne Rørvik, the Norwegian skip.
Norway has got the last rock advantage in the first end, and they are already lying one-time shot rocks, so they have got a good chance to score 2 in the first. Just put that one in the 8-foot.
Yeah, Norway must win that game to stay in the hunt. They've got their bye in the last round, and 2 and 4 will not be good enough. 3 and 3, with some results going their way, might be good enough to get a place, get a tie-break place. So it's a score of 2, and Norway leading Germany by 2 shots to 0 after the first end.
Italy is replacing the corner guard. We see the third rock in that end from Italy.
Ball again. China going to just peel this guard off. Saw a couple of errant peels from Cheng Shuang-Yue earlier on today. And this one is going to roll out of play. So already in the game, China thinking about controlling the scoreboard. Quite happy to run this second end through.
Italy is changing the position of the corner guard, but I don't think it will be more difficult for China to remove it.
Well, maybe a different story if they left it on the centre line. That one's a little bit tighter to the centre, but...
Yep, change of tactic. Go around.
Well, the Chinese front end are getting a real workout here at the start of this game, going coast to coast on this one. And that one wrecks on the guards. So the first real opportunity for Italy to get something going.
Elisa Patono, left-handed, still playing intern.
Oh, good draw here by Patono. Keeps it nice and high in the house as well, keeping that scoring area big for the last stone.
And China is not opening up the guard. They are trying to go also behind the guard, following the Italian rock.
Oh, again, light here. So, chances. Difficult to know exactly where Italy would like to go with this one. You see that red pretty well hidden.
If you want to go behind all those rocks, you always give the opponent the chance to play a freeze afterwards. So the open side of the house would maybe be a good idea. I mean, you don't just need to score 2 in the second end.
Well, certainly really important to stay in front of the T line here. Wine looking pretty good here, but they need to take this all the way back. And that's going to give Bingy Wong a chance to play a freeze to get them out of this mess. Amazing how quickly things turn around. You just took a high five in the face there, Pitono. Maybe we can get a replay of that one.
I mean, the rock was played pretty good. The tactics is not very good.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a couple of feet out, really. And yeah, I think I agree. The best option here would be to draw the open side. It really forces China to play a takeout, whereas you play the come around, you force China to play a more aggressive shot and take more risk, but there's more reward as well for them. So sometimes it's not about just putting your stones in the position that you think is best. You have to think about what your opposition's going to do to counteract your call. And Bingy Wang was drawing exceptionally well earlier on today. Missed the draw in the first end, however. Well, if they've covered the inside edge, that'll well be good enough. Nice shot there by Bingy Wang.
They had to wait a long time for starting to sweep because it was outside. So they were really sweeping at the right moment to bring it on the T-line. Well judged by the sweepers.
Yeah, and confident sweeping as well. To be able to leave it until the very end to sweep it rather than a panic at the start and making sure you're getting the weight right. Okay. Sometimes when you sweep at the start, you can't kill the line.
So out of that view, we can see that the yellow one is perfectly behind the first guard. And it will be very difficult for Italy to get that one out, because if you want to push it back, you must curl a lot at the end.
You're working this draw,
Anche piena va bene. Sì.
So is the opponent now forced to play a freeze, or I think they'll probably want to try and bump this yellow back a little bit and try and create an exit route for it for the last stone. Oh, it's got a lot of curling to do at the moment.
So that one also curls good at the end. The weight seems to be good. Just a freeze. Excellent.
Great shot there by Zappone, but it's going to be difficult for her to score 2, you would think.
Yeah, if China is able to play a good freeze now, then the 2 are nearly impossible for Italy.
Well, actually, anything really in front of that red stone makes life extremely difficult for Zappone. Any sort of guard on the left-hand side of the centre line, and Zappone on the right-hand side of the centre line as you look at it now, and then Zappone has to just draw the edge of the 1 foot for 2.
Yu Wang playing the last shot for China in the second end.
So important to know that they can be short with this one. I think they would like to try and make a freeze. It's more about the line for me. Well, that's over curled. And we're the other side of the centre line, and it was making life extremely tough for Italy to score to.
Now, again, a small chance to play a double from the outside. Would that one be possible?
Well, I'm sure it's possible if you were throwing it, Daniel, but I'm not too sure that Veronica's opponent can throw the weight to make that shot. So we're talking about that yellow furthest right on the tee line, coming off it and onto the other shot in the 4-foot circle. I think that's a really flat double for anyone.
That's true, but I think it is possible. It would be there if you play really fast.
Well, you know what, Daniel? After Veronica's thrown this draw and she's scored 2 points, we'll tell them to leave the stones there, and you can get your shoes on and go down and show us how it's done.
I'm already on my way.
Well, the Super's going hard on this one. Doesn't look like it's got the running though, unfortunately. And a couple of misses here early on by the skips of both teams, but nothing to choose between them on the scoreboard. Italy won, China won. Hey, Daniel, you should make your way down to the ice now and go and play that double.
It's too late. It's too late.
2 ends played. Italy won, China won. Top 4 for the Italians to start this third end. If you have just joined us, welcome to the World Curling Federation Olympic qualification here in the BLZ Arena in Füssen, Germany. Daniel, what does BLZ stand for?
Bundesleistungszentrum.
That's why we call it BLZ. This is our featured game, Italy and China. China 4-0, Italy 0-4, and it's 1-1 after 2 ends. My name's Logan Gray, and alongside me I have German curling superstar Daniel Herberg.
Thank you very much for the superstar.
Yeah, no problem. I don't think I'm overselling you at that. So, China throwing the corner guard like they did in the first end, going aggressive. Daniel, maybe this is a good time for you to be able to tell us about the German qualification process for the 2 teams. How did the German Federation pick the 2 teams to represent here at the Olympic qualification?
So actually, it was a point system over 2 years, and so you could get points for international playdowns like Europeans or Worlds. You got points at the German Championships and you got points at the Tour tournaments. So, and the team that collected most of the points, they are here. So that's why we see Andrea Schöpp on the left side playing her last shot in the second end for Germany. Norway is 2 up. But with that one, Germany can score 2 to level the score 2-2 after the second end.
Well, of course, Andrea would have had a little bit of competition from the likes of Daniela Jentsch, now Daniela Drindel. However, I'm pretty sure it would have been reasonably comfortable for Andrea to have qualified Germany based on her playing in the Europeans and the Worlds. Did you guys manage to push John Yar hard for the spot here this week?
I think we did. I mean, we were not good enough, but at the end it was like because no team had enough points after the 2 years. We had to play an extra qualification. That meant we were playing best out of 3 in Hamburg, and there Johnny won the first game, we won the second, and the third game was Johnny's. So it was actually close.
When did that take place, Daniel?
Sorry?
Did that take place this season?
It was in April.
Okay.
So not that long time ago.
So obviously a bit of a disappointment for you not to get back to the Olympic Games.
Would have been nice. Olympic Games are wonderful.
So Daniel, would you agree that it means more to the players who have already been to the Olympic Games to qualify again than maybe the guys here who have never been to the Olympics?
I mean, it is a really great experience to be there, but I'm very sure if you have not been there, you dream about it, that you are one time marching in with all the other athletes, and I can tell you the first time you march in there will always be the best, no matter how often you're going there.
Absolutely. Anybody who's been to the Olympics, one of the main things that they say is it's just amazing to be part of a bigger team like that, representing your country and all the sports that are representing your country. Oh, this is Cheng Xuanyue. She's been to the Olympic Games before. Of course, 2010, they won the bronze medal, this Chinese team, in Vancouver, Canada.
China is still playing offensive. They are ignoring the Italian rock lying on the forefoot, going behind the corner guard. A little bit too far back, but still perfectly hidden.
Yeah, absolutely. So Italy going to try and split the rings and lie to here by coming around this corner guard. And Supers look reasonably happy with this one, just really keeping it clean. Important to try and level up these red stones. They don't want to leave a double takeout. And well played there by Petono.
It was important to leave it in front of the T-line, not to give China the chance to play a freeze.
A good look at how the stone curls just so hard in the last few feet and covers a good piece of that red stone behind the guard. Well, squeaks past the guard, but loses the back yellow crucially. And Italy will be quite happy to see that stone drift out of the house. And Yin Liu just looking a little bit out of sorts this afternoon. one of the top shot makers for the week. The Chinese third.
Second shot of the Italian third. In-turn takeout.
Well, it's all gone quiet here. I always think that's a worrying sign, Daniel.
Yeah, no sweeping, no cleaning.
Well, it does enough to remove that stone. I just wonder if China will be willing to go around the corner guard once again. Looks like it. Here's Sheet C. Japan 4-0 against Czech Republic 2-2. Another one of those games that's just a must win for a team on 2 wins. Czech Republic can actually put themselves in great shape for the playoffs if they win this one. Japan already in a great position to make the playoffs.
Czech Republic has got last rock, playing hit and stave against 2 yellow ones. Perfectly played, so 1 for Czech Republic after the third end against Japan.
Of course, even the teams who are 4-0 and looking good to qualify, they could well qualify on 4 wins and 2 losses, but still so much to play for. You really want to be in that 1-2 qualification game and give yourselves 2 bites at the cherry to get to the Olympic Games. And of course, Japan play against the big favourites China in their last round robin game.
So that means if China and Japan both win their games tonight, they're going to be in the 1-2 game for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. They're already 2 games clear. So here's Zapponi with her in-turn freeze, chasing after this Chinese draw in behind the corner guard. Really nice draw there by Yin Liu.
And that's exactly the mistake the Chinese were waiting for. Now they have got the chance to lay 2 with an open hit.
Well, absolutely, but China haven't been able to make the most of these mistakes from Italy so far. Will they manage it here in the third end? Just a hit and stay required really for Bin Yuang. Maybe a hit and roll to the open side would be preferable, just to create better separation on these 2 yellow stones, keep them nice and far apart. Oh, hits on the nose. Definitely a double takeout possibility here for Italy though.
So the angle is pretty good to play a double takeout.
Interestingly, Zapponi playing this takeout across the face of the stone. Can make it just a little bit more difficult.
Would you prefer to play from the inside?
Yeah, I think it probably would. It just helps your stone have a little bit more speed coming off the first shot and rolling over towards the other one. You actually have a little bit more room for error playing it going into the stone than playing it across the face like this. But we'll see how it works out for Zapponi. It's actually only a very controlled weight that they're throwing here. Not really going after the double, Daniel.
Maybe just the roll takeout.
Oh, great shot here. How good is that from Veronika Zapponi? She knew exactly what she was doing there. Great shot there by
Velocità molto buona, 10,84.
the junior skip. Perfect roll. Now, it would be very easy for Bing Yuang to get a little bit frustrated here and play a difficult shot for 2. Maybe even lose a steal. So I think patience is key here for the Chinese.
Definitely play the draw for 1. Just try to keep the lead.
Bing Yuang just looking a little bit frustrated. She knows that her opposition are much weaker than her lineup. But still early in this game. Looks like she may be trying to come around and just try and play a nose tap for 2.
Very difficult shot, but it is possible, as we saw before. The rock is curling really a lot with that in-turn coming from the inside.
Well, it's fantastic ice conditions here in the BLZ arena. A great job being done by Jamie Barassa and his team.
So Bing Yuang playing the last shot in the 3rd end. An in-turn tap back.
Well, it's a tricky shot here. Must be pretty close. Just needs to hair past the guard. It's looking good. Oh,
Perfect.
great shot by Bing Yuang. Takes a risk and is rewarded for it. Super shot there, and a score of 2 for China. 3 ends played here, and it's China 3, Italy 1.
到后来下的时候下得太夸张，他跟之前不太一样，然后之前往下下的时候有点大，挺好，还是注意点量控就行。那边稍微滑一点的是吗？加油！
Well, what a super shot there by Bing Yuang to complete the 3rd end. Just puts the deuce on the board. And rewarded for some aggressive shot selection there in the 3rd end. Italy, despite a fantastic hit and roll with Sapone's final stone, giving up the 2, and we'll need to play some aggressive stuff here to try and get 2 back on the board. Well, Daniel, we both kind of said maybe just draw for your 1 there, but Bing Yuang takes a risk and it pays off.
I mean, she knows the ice. She saw all the rocks before. It was maybe a little bit more than half hidden, I would say. But she played it really perfectly, perfect weight. I mean, you can always play that rock with a little bit more careful. If you play it a little bit too fast, and make sure that you at least score 1. Even if you don't get the opponent 1 by your own 1, you can play it like you still score 1. It's the question how you want it, if you're willing really to make the 2, or if you play it a little bit more safe and say, okay, 1 is good enough.
Absolutely, Daniel. Yan Zhou playing 81% here for the tournament. Yeah, it was actually a really difficult shot to make to Italy, she really had to jam it on that back stone to score 2, or it might have just kicked back into the 8-foot a little bit and still only scored 1. So just a terrific shot there by the Chinese skip. Yanzhou not getting the setup quite right here for China. They would have liked those 2 stones a little bit more in line, but Italy are going to play a takeout anyway.
Ariana Lasona, Lusana.
Well, actually a pretty good shot there. Moves all the player from the center line and pushes that yellow over towards the corner guard. So, not too sure about this call from China. You're 2 up. And by playing the split the rings, you know Italy is going to try and play that freeze on that yellow stone.
I think you can only play that one if you think you're better than the opponent. I think you wait for another mistake, or you think maybe they make another mistake. I think she would not play that one against
Eve Muirhead,
for example.
Yeah, I think against Eve Muirhead, then Betty would probably be running out there to hit that red stone in the 12-foot. So it's a good shot here by Bing Yuang, but they were always leaving this freeze for Italy. I hope they call it now. There you go. That's the one.
Sara Levetti playing second for Italy. Trying to play that freeze that you just decided what would be the best shot.
Well, the weight looks pretty good. How's the line? How's the line? Oh, absolutely perfect from Sara Levetti. And now China with a real problem.
So maybe she should have ripped the guard.
I love it when we're right, Daniel. Doesn't happen very often. China are still lying with the stone on the other side of the rings, laid with Yue's first stone. Trying to just freeze that red stone just laid by the Italians. Well, actually, quite a good shot there by Yue. I think Italy can probably still play some sort of takeout on that yellow stone.
I think you would have lots of possibilities. You can hit it on the inside and roll over to the right one, or you can play it on the outside and just try to get another one behind the guard.
Yeah, I think the key here is just not to throw too much weight. You don't want to risk squeezing that red stone out of the rings. Looks like by the amount of ice they're taking, just a controlled weight indeed for Levetti. And a fantastic 4 for Japan in the 4th end. 4 ends played, Czech Republic in trouble here. And Japan leading by 4 shots to 1. Well, what you missed on the featured game here between China and Italy was China just trying to make that freeze once again. They've come up a little short. And then Italy are going to play a takeout over in the wing here to lie 2.
So that one's curling a little bit too much. Rolling back to the 12-foot. So at the moment, Italy's only one time shot.
Well, they're only line one here, Daniel, but still that could have some nuisance value yet for the Chinese. That red stone is out counting the yellow on the front ring. So, I mean, the way the stones are sitting at the moment, Italy could play a raised double and live 5. So China just need to tread a little bit carefully. Ian Liu playing 82% for the week. And Daniel, this all goes back to that one call where they decided to split the rings.
Of course, because she should have played the takeout, but it does not matter if you hit the one front 12-foot or the guard. Both would have been good.
Absolutely, there's no real need to take that kind of risk, but this is a super draw from Liu. Gets in there to line shot position.
But I've got the feeling that Italy, they do not really think about a fast takeout. They could actually do what you said before, just try to get rid of you Chinese rocks, because you've got lots of rocks in play, but they decide just to play the freeze. They were not thinking about the takeout.
Yeah, for me it looks like they're playing more of a kind of a containing game. They're just trying to stop China scoring really, and they're playing these freezes. But I mean, if I was out there, and I'm sure if you were out there, I think I'd be tempted to try a big weight takeout here and get a couple of these yellow stones out, and look at all these red stones lying round about. So they're just slightly naive tactically, and that's a poor shot there by Zapponi. Pitono. So
now, where to put the next one?
Well, they certainly can't split the rings here. They can't leave that draw in there again. Well, Bing Yuang needs to take away that out-turn draw from the Italians.
So, would you translate what they are saying?
I think they're just worried about pulling their stones together, putting all their yellow stones in the kind of same spot, and that if Italy did play some sort of raised takeout, then they could find themselves in a lot of trouble. I think ideally they just want to put one kind of in the 8-foot circle, half tucked around the yellow in the front ring.
Would be perfect. Corner freeze on the wet one would be the perfect rock. Takes all the trouble away.
Well, looks like that's what they're going to do by where Liu's got the brush at the moment. Even just a freeze in that pocket wouldn't be terrible. Oh, changed their mind though.
Yep, playing to the open side.
Well, if you're going to play the open side here, they need to touch the 4-foot. They can't go any wider than that. Italy are always going to play that freeze.
And you definitely have to play over the T-line so that you do not leave the double.
Well, absolutely, Daniel. Just a little bit short, and maybe Italy could have a takeout to lie maybe even 4 if they get it really good. So Bing Yuang playing 79%. I've got to say, regardless of the outcome in the end, this is not the best strategically called end I've ever seen from Bing Yuang. Really asking for trouble here. And this is short. I think that was good sweeping from Wang there. I think she was trying to say something nice so that they're not mean back to her. Get a good positive comment in there first to avoid the negative ones coming back.
Di là, di qua. Anch'io pensavo la stessa cosa. Io andrei prima di là. Perché di qua non sono nemmeno sicura che giri abbastanza perché girano tutte all'ultimo. Andiamo così. Al massimo faccio questo. Qua? No. Qua. Lì.
So now they are thinking at least about the takeout. I'm not sure what they're trying to do because they thought about going behind the center guard.
Andiamo prima di là.
Top forward.
Well, it looks like they maybe got the brush in the right spot for that.
Non decido su quale fare prima.
How do you feel about this call, Daniel? I'm going by your facial expressions that you're not in love with it.
Not really.
Okay, so going for the top 4 draw around that Yellowstone at the front of the house. Got to say, if you play the out turn that they've been playing all end long, then they're giving themselves an opportunity to probably even score 3, even if they don't move that Yellowstone. So they're really turning down the opportunity for a score of 3 in this end by playing this in turn draw. That being said, it's a super attempt by the Italian skip. Gets into a good position there. And most importantly, stays above the tee line. Bing Wang with a hand on her face there, thinking, how did we get into this position?
So now she's in trouble again because of her tactics, I would say. So she needs a good hackway takeout to move that red rock back to the 12-foot and roll over to the right side. That would be the perfect shot for China.
Oh, tough shot here for Bing Wang. And as you said, Daniel, you've got to think that China would have got themselves in a lot of trouble here in this end, playing against a top team. So, looks like it's going to be a takeout for 2 here for the Italians. That Yellowstone wide open.
Controllata? Mi dire controllata, non mi fiderei.
Yeah, definitely. There's a chance. It's not really open, but it should be possible with a
It's
hackway.
makeable.
Yep, it's easier than the one before from Bing Wang.
Anche perché non la devo prendere piena, Lo so. Piuttosto la tieni tutta. Controllata. Sì, la prendiamo metà.
Well, we said they're not great with the big weight takeout, but that's not what's required here. Just a controlled touch shot required from Veronica's opponent. Final stone here in the 4th end. And are they going to squeeze past this top stone? Oh, they will. Super shot here by his opponent. And look at that. Score of 2 for Italy in the 4th end. And looks like China aren't going to get all their own way this afternoon. 4 ends played here. Italy 3, China 3.
Con la mano, per quello ho detto un secondo. Lo so, ma avevo terrore di chiuderla. E quello è il mio rilascio. Ok, punta. Sì. Allora.
So a big deuce in the fourth end for Italy. Ties things up here in draw 6. And here's Lozano throwing into the top of the forefoot. Nice draw there by the Italian lead. And we'll see China throw the corner guard once more.
Yanzhou playing the out turn.
Well, Daniel, are you at all surprised by how China are approaching this game?
I think they're not patient enough. I think they are trying to force Italy to make mistakes, and by doing that, they make the mistakes themselves. Then instead of keeping the game easy, I mean, they were 2 up. Could be enough just to hit a little bit on corner guards, just to keep the game simple. But there were, for my opinion, by far too many rocks in play. If you're 2 up, so.
Well, it was really one call that dictated the whole end for China. Did have the opportunity to play appeal and turned it down. But to me, it's almost like they are expecting the Italians to miss. They know that they're playing against weaker opposition, so they can just try and. It doesn't matter if there's stones lying around because they think they're going to get misses and it'll be an easy game. But I think you made a really good point, Daniel, when you said that if they're playing against stronger opposition, then they would not be making some of these tactical calls.
Because in the last time they did that twice. They did that with the 3rd rock, I think, in the game, playing to the open side, even if you do not have last rock. And they did that again with the first skip rock, what was the same shot. And even if you leave it then as the center guard, I mean, it's not a good call and not well played.
Yeah, so maybe China just need to show a little bit more respect to this Italian team. I think China are playing a really good game with the last stone, actually. I think they're keeping the center open, they're playing well to the corners, but maybe just need to tread a little bit more carefully when they don't have the last stone.
So we see Czech Republic against Japan. Japan is already 4-1 up. We are in the 5th end. And Czech Republic, Anna Kubeshkova, is again in trouble, in big trouble. There are already 4 Japanese rocks in the rings. And she's trying to play a hit and roll. I think that's what she needs to be shot rock after that one. Rolls a little bit to the inside, could be enough, it's close.
Well, I'm going to give her it. I think she's just done enough, but Pliskova and Funayama have agreed that they're going to get a measure on that stone. So we'll give you an update on that once it's been agreed, what the score was in that end. So Yellowstone lying on the wing here.
Good double takeout by the Chinese second. Now, important for Italy is to keep the shooter in the rings. That China at least thinks about playing a takeout. I mean, they won't do.
Yeah, I think ideally they would have liked to roll a little bit closer to the button there, but more important to stick around there from Olivetti. Well, China was always really going to ignore that stone. And everyone's backing away from this one. Can Zappone get this one through? Oh, not quite.
This one is the perfect one to count at the end.
Exactly. That'll definitely be a concern for the Italians leaving that stone there. So it looks like the Italians forced to go around the corner guard here. This has got a lot of curling to do. Not even on the correct side of the center line yet. Certainly not troubling the guard, but they might make a freeze here in this back yellow. Don't know where the sweepers are. Well, lies too.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not perfectly positioned, but it's not bad. China ignoring both rocks and still trying to play behind the corner guard. Hard work for the sweepers.
Well, it's got a good line. Can they drag it down there? She passes the guard pretty tightly, and they'll just want this one to stop now. Great draw here by Yinliu. Puts it in the perfect spot, and China lying one. So it was good enough from Anna Kubeshkova to make that hidden check into the forefoot, and after a measure, a score of 1, and Japan now leading the Czech Republic at half-time by 4 shots to 2.
So now, would you try to play the freeze, or would you just open up the guard?
Well, it's kind of tough one, Daniel. I think if you open up the guard, then you're very much just handing to the Chinese team. They would just split the rings and make an easy deuce that way. So it's definitely the more aggressive call here from the Italians. They've actually got options with this freeze. They can freeze on the side of the yellow, or they can freeze their own red stone. It's just going to over curl a little bit too much.
So is it better than the Chinese rock?
I think we'll need a look at the overhead for that one. There it is, the dove from above showing us. Could well be lying short stone. Difficult to be absolutely certain. Certainly has enough nuisance value for China to have to make a play on that stone. I would think that if China were lying short stone here, they might just split the rings.
So they need to get by their own one.
Well, that's a big error there from China. Really big mistake.
So now, double takeout.
Well, if they can get close enough to the guard here, it definitely looks like a possibility. Well, it's just really edge to edge, those two yellow stones, the guard and that shot in the 8-foot circle. So maybe not so easy to make a double. We could just make a hack weight takeout and chip it through the gap between the yellow and the red stone and roll over to lie 2. So it looks like that red's lying shot, second shot from that overhead camera now.
Girare tutta. Con una controllata ho paura che non giri abbastanza.
So I think they're trying to hit it on the left side. to roll behind the corner guard. I think that's what she was pointing on with her broom.
Okay, so definitely an option here. Suppone, probably a slightly tougher shot and more risky shot. So this requires a good piece of skipping here from the Vice to make a decision of what side they're going to hit this Yellowstone on. They can't just let it hit on the nose. Is it good enough to lie to? Not quite, I don't think. I think they'll be quite grateful that he didn't move that red stone at the back of the 8-foot. Just squeaked by.
So now the chances again by China, also with a heck weight takeout. Maybe a heck weight double would be perfect. You could lie 3.
Well, we've certainly seen enough stones down this line to know what it's doing. And Bing Yu Wong's already played a great soft weight takeout around the corner guard already in this game. Of course, the shot to score 2 in the third end.
Of course, you have to make sure that you hit it on the inside, because no matter where your shooter stops, then you are lying 2 after that shot.
Well, this end could still go either way. China will be more than happy that the center line's open though. So how does this look? Oh, super shot here. She's made the double. And is it good enough to lie 3?
Oh, it's close. It's very close. Again.
I don't think our eyesight is good enough for that one, Daniel. May well need a measure.
Just a little bit more sweeping, then it would be safe. But position is good at the moment. It's very difficult to get that yellow one through the rest that's lying there back house.
Well, I think this is a bit of a risk making a play on this Yellowstone.
Would you prefer to play a freeze on the back one?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of options there as well. They can play a freeze right in there, and even if they kind of put something in the back of the 4-foot, even just covering the inside edge of the stone, then it's really difficult to remove. There's that nest of the 3 stones at the back of the 8-foot that would all be there as a catcher for their stone. So,
yeah, definitely right. The takeout is the more difficult one. And if you do not hit it on the right spot, you can even bring yourself into more trouble.
Absolutely, could well leave an opportunity to lie 4. That's Bjorn Schroeder, the Italian coach. Looks like he's having a good old time up on the bench. The 1992 world champion for Switzerland.
Together with Marcus Eckler.
Yeah, we were saying he's been getting around a little bit with the coaching jobs. This is maybe his fifth nation coaching. So how does this look?
It was actually well played, but still China is for sure one-time shot. So they have got a draw for 2. So you think Björn Schröder is no need to change or swap shirts with other coaches because he's just changing nations.
Quite right. I think him and people like Roger Schmidt actually just swap shirts just so they can change job. Okay, fancy trying a different nation now.
You've got the advantage that it's always your name on the back then, not another name.
Exactly. I mean, they all say coach anyway, so it doesn't matter who's wearing it. Anyway, here's Bing Yu Wong, final stone of this 5th end. Didn't really take too much of a look at who was lying 3rd shot or 2nd shot. And the sweepers are backing right away from this.
Now, from that line on, a sweeping allowed for the opponent. but it's good enough. So for sure, 2 for China. Maybe 3.
Oh well, absolutely no one really looked at that third yellow stone, so it must have been clearer than we thought. But that's going to be half-time here in our featured game here in women's draw 6. It's a score of 2 for China and 5 ends played. China 5, Italy 3.
So we are in the third end. The score is 1-1. And Bingyu Wang has got the right of the last shot. And she's got a very difficult one. She's going a big risk there, playing a tap back. And it must be really close by the guard. And it is perfectly played. Hits the red one, pushes it back. And so the risk pays out. 2 for China. And the score 3-1 after the third end. In the fourth end, China was playing still offensive, maybe a little bit too offensive. So Italy, Veronica Zappone has got a chance to score 2 with an open takeout. Perfectly played. 2 red ones are better than the yellow one. The score is leveled 3-3 after the fourth end. See a lot of rocks in play, but the yellow one is the best one at the moment. Bingyu Wang having the chance to play a draw for 2 with the outturn. No sweeping at all. It was quite long right from the hand on, but it was good enough. 2 yellow ones at the end, and the score 5-3 after the fifth end for China.
Elsewhere on the ice here in the BLZ Arena draw 6, Japan leading Czech Republic 4-2 with the last stone advantage, and Norway leading Germany by 4 shots to 2. Germany have the last stone in the 6th end. Well, the teams have had a chance to have some discussions with the coaching staff and their alternates, decide on the game plan for the second half of the game. Pretty even stats, surprisingly. Italy and Japan Italy and China are very tight in every department really. China slightly better in the takeouts, but the scoreline, the all-important stat, China leading by 5 shots to 3.
So now the question is, do we see a little bit different style of play from China? Marcel Rock, the coach of China, did he speak to the team, try to change a little bit the tactics, or will she still go for trying to steal rocks in the 6th end?
Well, I'm sure that Marcel would have had a little chat with Betty about that fourth end and how they got themselves into trouble, just to try and make sure that it doesn't happen again. So we'll see if there's a different approach here in the second half. Daniel, if you were Bjorn Schroeder, what sort of advice would you be bringing to your team?
I would be China or Italy?
Italy.
Italy.
Bjorn's the Italian coach.
I mean, I'm Bjorn Schroeder now,
yes.
so...
Yeah, you're Bjorn now.
So actually, they are playing quite well, I think. The score is still close. They have got last rock. They are only down 2 rocks. Just go on the same way. And if you are able to keep the score close to the 9th or to the 10th end, then the favorite team is maybe getting a little bit nervous. They think about, oh, we are just playing against Italy. We should be up 5 or 6 in the 10th end or in the 8th end or whatever. So they have just tried to go on like this, keep the score close. Maybe do not risk too much, risk at the right time. And now try, definitely score in the 6th end, I would say. 1 or 2, both would be good.
Oh, absolutely, Daniel. I think the key to this game is that Italy make the next score. They don't want to let China get any further ahead of them. Yan Zhou is having a great game, playing 88%. We just saw against Lozano's 80. So again, China quite content to go into the house. Just drifting to the tee line and beyond. Well, China having a good laugh out there. So again, this is kind of the same as the 4th end, and it worked out okay for Italy because China didn't play defensively. Italy they played a takeout with their first lead stone and really gave up the free guard zone rule. They've done the same again here, but I don't really see China not going for the peel on this occasion. And this guard's actually curling really wide.
So now, do you hit on that one?
Well, I think on this occasion, Daniel, the corner guard's so wide, it's not actually guarding anything. It would be very difficult for Italy to get a stone in the house and in behind that guard. So China are going to try and take the play to the center line.
So just put a second rock in the house, front 4-foot, and make the opponent play takeouts. We see Japan against Czech. Japan is already 4-2 up in the 6th end. And Ayumi Ogasawara having last rock and draw for 2. She's already laying one-time shot. She played that draw before. So that one looks really controlled. Hard sweeping at the end. It need to come to the 4-foot. Perfectly played. So 2 for Japan. And the lead already in the 6th end. 6-2. So the 1-2 game for Japan is getting closer.
It certainly is, and if Japan were to win and China were to win, then it would be almost like a practice for the final, playing against one another. The winner would take the last one advantage in the 1-2 game.
But I think what I saw during the last years, I would say, if you have got 2 teams being 1 and 2 already before the last game, and it's just for practice, as you said, it's very important to win that game, because always the one that wins the last round robin game wins the 1-2 game later on.
Well, we'll see if it pans out that way this week, Daniel. But sounds like sound thinking. Jinshuang Yue playing 77% for the game. Levetti playing 80% at second position for the Italians.
So if I would be the Chinese coach, this game is a lot more what I would like to see when I'm 2 up.
Yeah, definitely. There's no guards really that are of any use to the Italians. All the plays in the house. Well, this is really what's allowed Italy to be in the game as well. Yinglu just not at her brilliant best this afternoon. We've seen her playing above 80% all week long and just struggling at times here. Again, another mistake, rolls out of the rings. Well, does that stone help at all for the Italians to try and come around this white-red guard? I think Daniel just choked himself.
Still alive. Elisa Patono, 70% so far. Italy's not trying to play around the corner guard. They are playing a freeze on the Chinese rock on the forefoot.
Well, gets it down there, but not really into a threatening position for China. We didn't actually hear any of the chat with the coaches in between the 5th and 6th end, but I'm absolutely positive Marcel Rock would have said, look, you don't need to take any risk now.
Just be sure you hit it on the outside. Do not jam it on your own. Not good played. Big mistake.
Well, that's
the
just
Chinese third.
Well, that miss is just criminal from Yin Liu. Just looks really out of sorts this evening.
So suddenly there's a chance for Italy to lie to. Italian third with her second shot.
Oh my. Oh, but look where the shooter's gone. If that makes a freeze over there, that could be really useful.
It is.
Well, if that's biting the 12-foot, that is good use of the corner guard right there. Let's just have a look at the delivery here. Oh, bit of a speed wobble, as David Murdoch would call it. Hits on completely the wrong side here once again. But look at the shooter. If that's biting over there, that could well come into play later in the end.
So actually that forces China to play a second shot in the rings. Otherwise they would have had the chance to play a guard. Protect the one on the forefoot. And important is to play it on the tee line. Same level in the house. Not to give Italy the option to play a double takeout. That one was too long, but it's still better than the Italian one. But Veronica Zappone has got the chance to play a role here. I don't think she's trying the double right now.
Well, it looks like it could be a kind of similar shot to the one she played in the third end. We thought she should maybe go after the double, but just played a controlled weight, made a really nice hit and roll, and put her stone in a really difficult position for China to remove. So it is a chance here. It can definitely be aggressive for the sweeping here and go hard for the roll. And even if they do run into that second shot stone, well, this needs to make contact first, Daniel.
Nope.
That's a really poor miss from Zappone, and now a great opportunity for China to make things extremely difficult for the Italians' last stone.
So now China has got the chance to play a guard. Protect the rock that's in the middle of the house there. Maybe a bite to front 12 foot would be a perfect one. Ping Yuan with the last shot for China in the sixth end.
Well, I think they're just looking for this somewhere in the front ring.
Well played. Good position. Now Italy can think about trying the double or playing the draw. Both shots are going to be difficult.
Dovresti bocciare e spostarti leggermente.
I don't think they could have walked down and placed that too much better. Daniel?
Yeah, it's definitely a very good shot. And now, I would say, there's no right or no wrong shot for the next one. It's just what the skip prefers to play. Do you have the better draw weight, or are you very accurate in playing a double takeout? Just have to make it.
Well, I think if they... Actually, it's almost like a natural triple. If you had the weight to throw that shot, you could try and bang that yellow on the centre line right on the nose. And that
if you nose the left one, then it would be really annoying playing the perfect.
It would be disappointing if you jammed it on the wide one, but it would be a risk to play that shot. I don't think Veronica's opponent can really throw the weight to make that. So playing to her strengths and going for the draw here.
So playing against 3 Chinese rocks, this one must be at least in the 8 foot to give China only one.
Well, Ping Yuan's having a good go at this one. Is it far enough to score 2? Who knows?
I would say yes.
Certainly looks that way, Daniel. It's going to be a score of 2 for China. And I'm amazed that this is getting measured. So head down, Zappone misses the draw for a score of 1 in the 6th end, and very much looks like it's going to be a 7-3 lead for China. And I think this 6th end really demonstrated why China didn't need to take the risks that they did all the way back in the 4th end when they gave up the deuce. They didn't have to take any risk here, and out of nothing, they've stolen 2.
Yeah, it was a perfect played end. Just easy shots. Keep it simple.
Once again, the umpire's doing a great job of getting their head in the way of the dial so that we can't see it.
Yeah, very, very good.
There's see quite a bit of distance between the needle and that red stone. It's going to be a score of 2 for China. And after 6 ends, China looking good for going 5-0, leading Italy by 7 shots to 3.
对，然后就让他们边区边边假假的球稍微少一点，然后完了出一点力量，然后完了出一点。
Well, Daniel, Germany right back in it against Norway.
4-4 in the 8th end. But Norway has got the hammer. Close game.
Yeah, a lot of blank ends. 3 of the last 4 ends have been blanked in that game, and I think somebody's maybe got a dinner date at 6:30 that they want to try and make. They're already in the 8th end. We're just getting the 7th end underway here in our featured game.
So China is already 4 up. So now Italy definitely needs to play very offensive. And China for sure is going to try to play a little bit more defensive than they already did in the 6th end. So Logan, when are you going to play for Scotland at the Olympic Games? So it might be Scotland in 2018.
Well, probably never. It's not going to stop me trying though, Daniel, you know.
Well, you played a good season, didn't you?
Yeah, we're having an okay season. We're doing a little bit of damage on the World Curling Tour, but yeah, we don't really have any opportunity to make this Olympics. The team already selected is Team Murdoch, previously Team Brewster. Don't ask me too many questions about that or I'll get in trouble. And yeah, Team Murdoch, they've been selected for the Olympics, and of course they've gained enough points from the last 2 World Championships to qualify Great Britain directly for the competition without having to come here to Füssen.
So was it in Scotland a point system, or were they just selected?
No, just selected. I think it's, I mean, it is individual selection. They've kind of thrown the team together a little bit, but maybe not so much in the past. They've kind of molded the team over a course of a few seasons rather than just deciding on the season, okay, we're going to go and put 4 skips together and hopefully they'll go and play some great curling because of the 4 best players. They've kind of molded this team, as I say, over the last few years. As Tom Brewster put this team together after the last Olympics. He won a couple of Scottish titles, and then David Murdoch was brought into the equation as well. So unfortunately for Tom, he kind of finds himself sitting on the bench now. He's being replaced by David Murdoch at skip, and that's the way they'll start things out at the Olympics unless something drastic changes. And as far as my team goes, we're just going to keep plugging away, and hopefully we can win the Scottish Championships this year. We've got a great opportunity with, especially with Team Murdoch not being there. They're going to be away playing the Olympics.
It's in February?
Yeah, it's exactly the same time. So that being said, It is absolutely wide open in Scotland. There's maybe 5 good teams who will all be in.
Are there also some old teams in? Like, is Hemi playing or Dave or Warwick?
Well, Hammy isn't actually playing. This is maybe the first season we've not seen him mixing it at the Scottish Championships, but Warwick's still kicking about. Yeah, and he'll definitely be a force to be reckoned with. And he's just one of those guys that can not curl all season long, and then they'll turn up at the Scottish Championships and then just be disgustingly difficult to beat. So. And yeah, you've got like people like Ewan McDonald who you don't see on the international scene that often these days, but just still one of the best curlers in Scotland. So it's going to be an interesting one, but it'll be one thing's for sure. We'll see a new Scottish champion for the first time in the last few years, anyway.
But what I think is a very good idea, because that next World Championships does not count at all for Olympic points, so it's a good chance to give another team new experience.
Yeah, definitely, and there's a few teams in that kind of same boat as my team, where we don't have that experience of a World Championship, and they're definitely in with a shot of winning the Scottish title. People like Kyle Smith, who's the World Junior Champions, and we have Grant Hardy, and we've got David Edwards. So I mean, that's 4 teams already who are right on the edge of breaking onto the international senior scene. And although they've got junior experience at the international level, could well be it's a great opportunity for them to get that experience going into the next Olympic cycle.
And playing in Beijing will also be interesting, I think.
Well, absolutely. And my team actually played there in September in the China Open, so the ice conditions weren't great, must be said, but it looks like it'll be a fantastic event when they can get the ice conditions sorted out. Meanwhile, Sheet C, here's Czech Republic and Japan. Japan streaking this by 6 shots to 2. And this is Anna Kubeshkova trying to throw a double takeout to score 2. And it looks like it's got a lot of curling to do.
It's the first one, rolls to the other one, but that's not enough. So 1 for Czech Republic, and the score after the 7th end, 6 to 3.
Well, actually a good attempt there by Kubeshkova. Just needed to hit an inch less, and that shot was made. Back in our feature game, that's Sara Levetti throwing second stones for Italy, and a lot of yellow stones around the front of the tee line. Well, actually quite a nice shot there. Moves things around and leaves a couple of stones on the wings that Italy may be able to use later on.
So China's just trying to make sure that the red one is going out of the house. Stay there would be a good choice, but if you roll a little bit to this side, it's also okay. Just remove the opponent.
So Yin Liu has been a little bit out of sorts at times in this game. Makes a takeout there, but rolls one of the yellow stones behind the tee line. And one thing we have seen from the Italians is that they're not scared to throw a freeze.
Elisa Patone playing the freeze for Italy. The first rock in the 7th end. Perfect line.
Yeah, really nice shot there by Patano. Well, China are 7-3 up here. And maybe it is late enough in the end that China can afford to be aggressive here and try and make the freeze. The scoring area is still very small for Italy at the moment. Well, once again, a mistake from Yin Liu. But still, it was actually not a bad time for China to go for it there, because it's still really difficult for Italy to score to the way the stones are sitting at the moment.
Because if you put a second one close to yours that's already lying shot rock, you might give China a double, because the setting at the moment is good for the red one. But if you put a second one in now, you could make it easier for the opponent. The line is again very good.
Oh, that's a really nice shot there. Oh, I don't think we'll see another guard or a freeze from Betty this time. She's going to have to smash some yellow granite around here. Try and get at least one of those reds moving in the 4-foot circle. That's the lineup there. They could whack that front yellow and even just try and open up the red stone on the tee line.
If you play a nose takeout on the first one, get at least one of the red ones out, and what I think would be maybe enough at the moment.
Well, they could just hit on the inside of that yellow stone at the front of the rings and try and drive it across the face of the yellow and just open things up completely.
Yeah, would be the best one. But they are not playing that one. They are trying to force somehow Italy just to get that one.
Well, I interviewed Betty earlier in the week, and one of the things she was complaining about really was that they were making a lot of shots, they were getting into the lead, but they were struggling to see out the game, and the way she put it was they needed to find a way to have more control. And at the moment, they still don't seem to have that control that they're going to need to find when they're playing against the world's best at the Olympics. It's very likely that China are going to qualify for the Olympics. They are, in my eyes, easily the best team in this tournament, but again, they're just playing too aggressive when they don't need to. Just a little bit too much risk at time in my eyes.
Because I don't know how they want to get shot rock. I mean, they just try to play the guard.
Yeah, and actually, see, if you look at the two stones on the left-hand side of the screen here, the red and yellow, they could possibly, the Italians, play a takeout red, yellow, and spin that yellow off the back of the 4-foot, and all of a sudden they're lying two reds in behind a whole bundle of guards. So it's maybe something that the Chinese will need to work on. And it looks like the Italians getting a little bit adventurous over here.
Looks like they're trying to play the tap back. First their red one, the corner guard on the 4-foot.
Yeah, I mean, just to go back to my previous point, I don't mind teams playing aggressively when they're already ahead on the scoreboard, but I think in this situation there's no real need for it. They're playing against a weaker team, and if they leave stones around, then this team's already shown that they can draw and they can make shots. They're going to find ways to wiggle stones in behind the guards, and they're just making things way too difficult for themselves in my eyes.
You're definitely right, because what we saw in the 6th end was that if it's very simple, if it's clear, if it's easy, the opponent is trying something what is too difficult, and they made mistakes by that. So they've scored or stolen two very easy. And if you play like this, you're always under trouble, and you're always under pressure. You need to make your shots. It's not just play open hits is a lot more easier. than to find a perfect spot here.
Well, the other thing I would be concerned about is that Yin Liu on the left-hand side of your screen there isn't having a good game at all here. And we're coming into the business end of the week. You want your players to be as confident as possible. So why not give them the easiest shots possible? When you end up with this amount of stones in play, I mean, like there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 13 stones in play at the moment. It's a 4-shot game. You're only going to have to play more difficult shots than are absolutely necessary. And of course, you're playing more difficult shots, you're going to miss more shots. And that's not going to help Yin Liu's confidence going into the all-important playoff stages.
Bing Yuang playing the last rock for China in the 7th end. It's not an attempt to get shot rock. That's not possible from the intern side. He's trying to get a second one in the house.
Oh, there's a cheeky one.
Like this, the shot would have been possible.
Well, that stone will actually lie in second shot position. Sorry, third shot position, but it counts the red at the front of the forefoot. Good sweeping call there by Yin Liu to try and make something of that shot. Just a fraction thinner, and that one could have spun right onto the 1 foot.
So now Italy's trying the tap back again. Veronica Zappone with the chance to score 2.
Well, she's got a little bit of backing here. I think if she kind of stuck it onto the back yellow, then she would still score 2.
Now the line is the most important thing.
Well, it's only going to be a score of 1 here in the 7th end. And after 7 ends, it's China 7, Italy 4.
然后了看看把前置给它清开，这局主要目的不让他们偷分就行。然后咱要能得分的话，当然更好。我觉得得1分2分都行。
Welcome back to the World Curling Federation Olympic Qualification Event 2013, live from the BLZ Arena in Füssen, Germany. It's women's draw 6 this afternoon, and our featured game, Italy and China. China leading by 7 shots to 4. My name's Logan Gray, and alongside me, Daniel Herberg. And in the end, China get what they wanted in the 7th end, Daniel.
Yes, because Italy had the last rock advantage and they scored 1. But for our opinion, I would say there were by far too many rocks in play. If you're 4 up, you should try to keep it simple. And we were counting, I think, 13 rocks in play. And actually there was a chance for Italy maybe to score 3 with a takeout. I mean, they didn't try that one, but it was there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think against a team with a bit more experience, a bit more firepower, playing against, I mentioned Eve Muirhead earlier on. Playing against somebody like Eve Muirhead, I'm sure she would have spotted that opportunity to play the straight raise double. Here's a matchup at lead. Lozano having a good game at 82%, but yeah, and Joe having a terrific game, 92%. Yeah, just too many stones in play. I agree, Daniel. I think you made a good point about the sixth end, that there was almost no stones in play, there was no risk, and China stole two. So I would like to see them play a few more ends like that rather than the carnage of the seventh end. So a really good freeze there by Lozano, continuing to have a good game. Meanwhile, on sheet D, Norway and Germany tied on 2 wins and tied at 4 on the scoreboard. This is Mariana Rurvik.
She's playing a draw. She needs just full 12-foot with that one. Germany has got 1 rock behind the corner guard.
Well, you would love to see them make the playoffs this week. They had a bit of a rotten time at the Europeans in their home country. They got relegated from the A group, but looks like they're bouncing back here, and a win against Germany would be absolutely crucial to keep their Olympic hopes alive. And they lead Germany by 5 shots to 4.
70-75, 70.
So we see 2 yellow ones close to the 4-foot, 1 in the 4-foot, 1 close to the 4-foot. Italy second, Sara Leviti just trying a freeze.
Well, a really nice shot there. Again, Levetti. And pushes that to a really useful position, Daniel.
Now it's over T, so the opponent, so Italy can use it. Maybe not right now, but later in the end.
Yeah, Cheng Shuang Yue just slightly outplaying Levetti. Yue really playing the takeout game well. 82-75 overall. So I think we have seen the Chinese generally making more shots than the Italians. There's not been a massive gulf between the two teams as far as shot making goes. And here we go again.
If I would be the coach, I would like to open up the guard. Just try to keep it simple. You're lying 2 times in the house. Just get rid of the center guard. You've got last rock in that end.
It's so early in the end, Daniel, that I think maybe Betty's a little bit worried that Italy hit that front red stone and doubles the 2 yellows and they lie 3. But it's so early in the end. They can leave that shot, and then with the next stones they can clean things right up. There's no risk for the rest of the end. And eventually we get to the right decision.
Perfect.
I think they heard you, Daniel.
Well, well, well. Perfect call.
I don't know why we were ever doubting her. Well, Cheng Shuang Yue, we've seen her just struggle a little bit with some of these intern peels in the other games, but gets that one off very nicely. I feel like you're a bad influence on me, Daniel. I've been far less critical in all the other games than I have in this one.
I'm not critical. I'm trying to be objective.
Yep. So here's Italy, hopefully doing the right thing and just throwing the guard back on.
They are. That's the call.
Yeah, I think they need to recognize that they're in a pretty good spot in the house at the moment. Yeah.
Well played. Perfect position. That gives us the time to look at Japan against Czech Republic. Japan playing yellow rocks is at the moment shot. So it is Ayumi Osagawara having the chance to score 2 with a draw. And increasing the lead for Japan.
Yeah, I think this could well be the end of this game. Super Jam to go to town on this one. Really buckling in. Can they drag this one down far enough? I don't think so. It's only going to make it into the 12-foot circle, and maybe the Czech Republic will live to fight another day. Just a score of 1 there for the Japanese team, and still a 4-shot game though. 8 ends played, and it's Japan 7, Czech Republic 3. Well, back in our featured game, Italy trying to make the freeze this time. Just over curls a fraction, but still in a useful position. I'm really happy to see them not playing a takeout at this stage.
The position is very good, I would say. It's really difficult to get rid of any of the red ones.
Yeah, we've been saying all game that Yin Liu just struggling a little bit today, not at her brilliant best. Tied at 64% with Patono.
我觉得你还是想往这边来一个。那也行，要不然那块相关性太重了。你这个球的话，我觉得正好还能以后还能往里再轻传一下，所以我不太想动他。他现在打的话，这块也是这个球。反正先来一个吧。往这来一个吧，现在这个角，我觉得先别轻传他，传他现在不太好。如果下线的话就磕一下。啊，磕一点行。嗯。 要不然的话，你现在传进的话，那个球下一个很容易处理。而且现在就都变成人家在前面了。嗯，删一个吧。
So China in a tricky spot here in the 8th end. And looks like they're going to switch tactics. They're really not in love with playing a takeout on anything here. They could just try and chip that red stone off just played by the Italians, get that one out of there. And even if they did sacrifice their yellow stones, then at least things would be a bit more opened up. They could also play a takeout on the red second shot, but then risk hitting the opposition stone onto their one in the button. So it looks like they're going for a freeze here. Well, not too sure about that.
So we'll see a timeout from Italy.
Chinese third, Yin Liu putting her sad face on there.
I mean, the rock was played not bad.
Yep.
But it's not. The rocks are set up better for Italy at the moment.
Well, the one thing I would say is that red in there is quite lonely at the moment. I think this may be a good opportunity for Italy to now make a move and play a takeout on these red stones, spin a couple of the yellows away, and just give them some access into that yellow shot stone. That red at the top of the 8 foot is in a great position for them. They can.
If you're really lucky, I think you could play a triple takeout.
Yeah, it looks like it's all lined up, Daniel.
Yeah, no,
it's a good spot.
And I think it's not a real difficult shot. Just nose it fast enough.
Let's see if we can hear what Bjorn's saying.
Maybe. Yeah, but you have to make sure you hit this on the nose.
On the nose?
Yes. That we stay here and we have this as guard. To have this for later to play a come around and steal.
On the nose.
I think, yeah, on the nose. And then you go on the 2 yellow. This goes over there a little bit. The 1 yellow goes back here. The 8 goes out. And maybe this 1 will stay somewhere around here. And we use this 1 as a freeze later.
Because I thought maybe take this here. No, on the nose.
10 seconds. Yeah. I would rather say we need this one. This is important that this stays somewhere
Okay.
for the house.
At least this way. So I give the ice this way.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, looked like a good, productive discussion. And unlike the Chinese time out this morning, where the coach left and the Chinese players all just looked at one another and were like, okay, we don't really know what to do. the Italian team seemed to have a good idea of what they're planning. And we're going to follow up a coach interaction with a technical timeout. That's that X sign that Batono's making. So the clocks will stop because there's obviously a problem with this handle. And clearly when they've tilted the stone, then the lights haven't come on, it's not been activated. So that's the umpire in the blue jacket. Well, there's a lot of flickering going on with the lights there. Maybe it's fixed itself.
So it's green and red at the same time. So that means the rock is okay, or?
Well, what the umpire should do here is just to keep the game moving, is ask the player if it's okay if they stand at the hog line to watch for the clear release, just so they can push on. The stone gets to the other end of the ice, and then the ice technicians can have a look at the handle and sort it out for the next end. And we have already seen that this week.
That would be a good idea, but I think, no, that's what they do.
Well, the umpire's not really showing any interest in the hog line though, so maybe a free opportunity just to slide up the ice and get a little bit closer.
It's, maybe that's difficult if you never do that and then you try it in that moment.
So they're going to try and whack this on the nose and try and make that triple that you talked about, Daniel.
But it's not on the nose. It's not even close to the nose.
Oh, that's a disastrous result. That was a real opportunity there. And Bjorn Schroeder in his timeout, he talked about the importance to hit that one on the nose and keep a red stone at the front of the house to draw around and make the steal. But that opportunity is now gone. And I don't think... Great facial expressions from Bjorn Schroeder. I think I would be feeling exactly the same way. Well, Daniel, you were wondering where Joe Fritz is today. That's him down there fixing that handle for us.
So now we've got the chance for China to play the double. Perfect. Lying four. Easy shot.
Yeah, how quickly things turn around. But still, I think opportunities here for Italy. That's Joe Fritz, one of the ice technicians here this week, assisting head ice maker Jamie Barassa. And I think you'll agree, Daniel, doing a terrific job.
Ice conditions are perfect, but also the BLZ arena is a very, very nice facility, and the concrete on the surface is really, really leveled, so it's not that difficult to make good ice. I mean, in Oberstdorf we had World Championships, and we've got an old arena. It's going down for 14 centimeters from one side to the other, so that's a lot more difficult to get good ice there.
Well, you know, Daniel, I've only ever played in Oberstdorf in May, so...
You mean the incredible mixed?
The Bavarian mixed. Fantastic event.
How did you end up there?
I can't remember.
Have you ever played on Sunday?
I can't remember. So here is Veronica with her final stone, with her first stone here in the 8th end. And they do still have an opportunity here. They can come down and tap these two yellow stones in the button and leave a freeze. Needs to get past this top yellow. Oh dear. So China still lying possibly 4. And I don't think China will show any interest in that wide red here. They can throw one in front of the T line here and make things really, really tough for the Italians.
Again, I would say we are very pleased with the tactic in that 8th end. They were just opening up the guards, not playing difficult shots, and now they've got a big chance to score.
Absolutely, when you're ahead in the game, you want to play the easy shots and force your opposition to play the hard ones. Italy went to play a hard shot here, and it didn't come off. And now look at all those yellow stones around the center line.
Now put that one front forefoot, and I would say game over for Italy.
Well, they're looking for this just where Yen Liu has her brush in the middle of the 8-foot circle. Maybe overswept that one a little bit.
Yeah, should have curled a little bit more.
Well, difficult to see how Italy are going to steal here. They need to try and squeeze that top yellow off the button somehow and roll behind the cover.
Or other option would be just to play the perfect tap and stay with the shooter in front of the yellow one to give China only one.
Well, it might be their only option at this point, Daniel, but it's probably not enough for the Italians to give up one here in the 8th end.
But I think that's the only shot they can do. Veronica Zappone playing the last shot in the 8th end for Italy. Very well played. That's the best I think she could do.
Yeah, absolutely.
这球你要轻传一点儿，往这儿传一点儿。
角度都不太好传。
还是拿这个轻传一点儿。
这个轻传。
拿这个吧。
So Chinese 3rd end skip, they both do not see a chance to get that red one out. So they think about maybe getting a second one shot, trying to push the right yellow one back to the forefoot.
Well, I think they maybe could get that red stone off by playing this same tap at a bit of weight, but there is a risk attached to that shot that you do not get it quite right and you end up spinning your yellow off the button and giving up a steal. So they're just going to play this at quiet weight, try and protect that stone in the button, and if they can get another stone into the forefoot here, then that would be a bonus. But they don't want to take any risk here at the same time.
Yeah, good decision. 7-4, 2 ends to go.
So final stone of the 8th end here is Bing Yuang. Throwing an in-turn tap here, just trying to hit this per stone, maybe half stone on the high side. It looks like it's got a really nice weight. How's the line? This looks really good.
Perfect.
Terrific shot here by Bing Yuang. It's a score of 2 in the 8th end. And China now lead Italy by 9 shots to 4.
或者是力量就差不多的时候，等等线，然后再擦嘛。刚开始感觉力量小，然后擦的就感觉够不下线了。有那个那边头4区那个还不下线。2分是吗？2分。
China now leading by 5 shots. It's been a great display on the scoreboard in the 5th, 6th and 8th end to make the difference here. 6-1 for China in the last 4 ends. And that's the difference here. Italy with what you would think is an unassailable deficit here against the 2009 world champions China.
Italy playing again the perfect corner guard.
Well, let's just a little look at the time clocks. Neither team really blessed for time, but China actually have less time than Italy here, but they're just going to be throwing takeouts, you would hope, for the last couple of ends. Italy need to move a little bit more quickly.
Ariana Lozano playing a second corner guard.
Yeah, Lozano's had a good game. Certainly hung with Yenzhou. Yenzhou top of the leads this week.
And now I'm pretty sure China's starting to hit on the corner guards. We see Yu playing an out-turn peeling takeout on the one lying closer to the house. Just get rid of that one. Well played.
Yeah, locks it on the one in the house as well. Italy will probably have to move that yellow stone at some point. Not yet though. So, here's your curling idol, Daniel. Andrea Schrupp throwing her final stone of the 9th end.
Playing race takeout.
Well, not a million miles away. Oh, just skiffs that red stone on the way by. And it's going to be a huge steal of 1 in the 9th end for Norway. Norway in a commanding position, going up 10, leading Germany by 2 shots. And the scoreline there, 6 shots to 4.
So Logan, do you know how many European championships Andrea Schrupp played for Germany?
I've got a rough idea, but I don't know exactly. I could look at my ring binder here and find out.
I think it
around 25.
Yeah, I think it's 27, or but I'm sure she's going to make 30 full.
Yeah, I think she could actually make it to 50 the way she's going. She's not showing any signs of giving up. Just a tremendous competitor, Andrea. Here's Sara Levetti throwing second stones for Italy. Trying to make a freeze on this yellow stone. A little bit surprised they're not choosing to go around the corner guard at this point. Even if they make a perfect freeze here, then China are just going to step up and peel the corner guard off anyway, so they're not... China aren't inexperienced enough to go and try and hit the stone in the house if it was a perfect freeze.
In-turn takeout. Well played. The shooter rolls out of play.
So here's Czech Republic and Japan. And every time we've really looked over to sheet C, Anna Kubeshkova has not been in great shape in any of the ends, really. Japan looking utterly dominant this afternoon. Already leading by 7 shots to 3. Here's Anna Kubeshkova with a draw against 2 Japanese counters. Needs to find the forefoot. No problems at all. And after 9 ends, Japan will have the last stone. And they also lead by 7 shots to 4. Looking good for going 5-0. Very much looks like it's going to work out the way we talked about, Daniel. Japan and China are going to play the last round robin game. And they're going to be playing for hammer, but as you said before, maybe playing for a little bit more as well.
You're playing for self-confidence. You're playing just to get the feeling of winning against that team that you're playing again the next game. And it's a good chance if you win that last round robin game that you also win the next 1 and 2 game.
Yeah, of course, by winning this game, the Japanese and the Chinese will guarantee themselves a place in the 1-2 game. No other teams can catch them on 5 wins. But still a whole load of scrapping to go on for that 3rd spot. And just to clarify the situation with the playoffs, the 1st and 2nd team in the round robin will play, and the winner will qualify for the Olympics. The loser of that game will then face the 3rd place team in the round robin, and the winner of that game will also go to the Olympics. So actually, if Norway defeat Germany, then they will go to 3 wins and 3 losses. Looks like Czech Republic are going to lose to Japan, so they would stay on 2 wins. So Norway would be out. Excuse me, sorry, that was my turn to have a little choking moment. Yeah, so if Norway won just now, they would move to 3 wins and they would be outright 3rd.
So they would have the tiebreaker spot for sure, and they can just watch the last round who's joining them.
Absolutely. I think they have to expect that teams are going to join them. I don't know who's playing who at this moment, but that being said, it certainly doesn't look over on sheet D. Germany have one behind the corner guards. So here's Veronica Zapponi, throwing her first stone here of the 9th end. Trying again for this freeze. This might be a good opportunity for Bjorn Schroeder to work on strategy with the Italians and know when they're chasing the game, they need to use the corner guards. You need to just ignore the stones in the center line, force a mistake around the corners, and then you can go back to the one in the center and remove it. Zapponi just 38% for her draws today.
So it's Italy versus Germany in the last game, and Czech versus Latvia. So that's for both teams a good chance to win.
Yeah, Czech Republic and Germany will both be favourites in those games, so there could well be a 3-way tie for 3rd if things pan out as we think it might. These games not dead though. This afternoon, Germany is still with an opportunity to beat Norway. Have a couple of yellow stones in the house.
Bing Yu Wang playing her last shot in the 9th end. An in-turn takeout. Just hit that one, the red one on the safe side. Perfectly played. No matter if your own one rolls out. So now Italy decides to play a draw shot, what means that they might end the game after that rock.
Yeah, well, whether you're 4 down without the last stone or 5 down with the last stone, I don't think it really makes any difference. I think they'll decide that this is the last stone of the game. Last stone of the 9th end, though. This is Veronica's opponent. Just really needs to find the paint to score here. And the sweepers are going to have to go a little bit on this one. And this one is going to drift down into the paint. Put one on the board for Italy. But it looks like the hand is going to be offered by the Italian skip. And Italy, unfortunately, are going to have to wait for the final draw of this Olympic qualification to try and get their first win on the board. China are going to remain perfect this week on 5-0. But that's the final score. China have defeated Italy by 9 shots to 5.
So congratulations to China, to Bing Yu Wang and her team, to have got that 1 and 2 spot for sure, no matter what happens in the last game against Japan. So we see back there, Germany versus Norway. Norway 6-4 in the 10th end, Andrea Schöpp. And the German team has got the last rock advantage. But 2 red ones are lying shot rock at the moment. 1 yellow one is behind the corner guard. Germany has got 2 rocks to go. They just had a timeout. And discussing what to do with that rock. And Andrea Schöpp and her team decided to play a takeout. That one has to be in the house. The shooter has to stay. Norway's allowed to sweep that one. They get that one out of the house. So the only thing that is possible now for Germany in that end is to score 2 and to reach the extra end. But at the moment, it's Norway's turn to play their last rock in that end. Marianne Røvik decided to play an in-turn draw. She has to get that one in the house. But better than the German, better than the yellow one. The position should be somewhere on the tee line. That will be good. Because then Germany would need a double takeout to have the chance to play an extra end. So Marianne Røbig, the last rock for Norway. Can she keep her Olympic dream alive by putting that one perfectly in the house? They must sweep that one pretty hard to bring it a little bit over the T-line. Well played. Very good position. That's a very difficult angle for the German team. They need the double. That's the only chance. They are 2 down at the moment. The score is 6-4 for Norway. We'll see a fast takeout. Played with the out turn. A very difficult shot. Because you have to get both red ones out of the house and stay with the shooter. The first red one must be hit only by 3-4 centimeters. Maybe a fourth of the rock. I think even less. Driescher with the last shot in the 10th end against Norway. She needs the double. Well, that one curls too much. So 1 for Norway at the end. A steal brings Norway the win. So they have got 3 points now. They have got a bye in the last round. They must watch what the other teams are going to do, but they have got the tiebreaker spot for sure. The final result. Norway is winning. So they are in the tiebreaker. The 6th end. Veronika Zappone has to play a draw with her last rock. 3 Chinese rocks are lying in the house. She needs the dolly for 1 and at least the 8-foot to give China only 1, but that one was too long after a measuring decision. It was sure that the Chinese rock was better, so 2 for China, a steal in the 6th end. So a comfortable lead already by 4 rocks in the 7th end. We see a lot of rocks in play. Out of my opinion, a little bit too many actually. So again, Veronika Zappone with the last shot. She has got a chance maybe to score 2 or even 3, but that one overcurls. So 1 red one was at least better. The score. She was 3 down after the 7th end. And in the 8th end, the yellow one, the Chinese one, is already best one lying in the house. Bang Yu Wing with an in-turn tap back, perfectly played from the outside. Double tap back. 2 rocks for China. Perfectly judged by the sweepers. So 9-4 after the 8th end. And after the 9th end, it's over. China is winning. It was 1 shot or 1 stone for Italy in the 9th, but the final result, 9-5. Congratulations to China achieving the 1-2 spot for sure, even before the last game.
And elsewhere on the ice in the BLZ arena, Japan defeating Czech Republic to also remain perfect, and Norway 7-4 victors over the home nation Germany. Germany fall to 2 wins and 3 losses. Norway go to 3-3. And Czech Republic still with a chance of making the playoffs as well. Norway moving to outright 3rd in the standings. And hopefully this will confirm what I just said. See Norway in 3rd place on 3 wins. Czech Republic and Germany with a win in their last games. They're favourites in both of their games. They could move to 3 wins alongside Norway and go into tie breaks for 3rd spot. But China and Japan already qualified for the playoff and will have 2 chances to make the Olympics. Betty, congratulations on your 5th win, no losses. How did you feel today's game went?
Today, I think the few end we got some the problem with the rocks, with the draw weight, and we missed some the chance to get 2 or up the points. And I think we make this game a little tough, the few ends. But after the 5, I think we more relaxed and more comfortable with the rock and the draw weight. So I think, yeah, we win. Yeah.
Earlier in the week, you told me that you need to find a little bit more control in the games. Do you think that you're managing to do that now?
Yeah, I think we're not bad, and this end we got 5 points up, and we still control there, and I think we much better than a few games ago, and yeah, not bad right now, but we still have to be focused and be real ready to go. Yeah.
Japan have just won their 5th game as well, and they're also perfect. You play them in the last game in the round robin. How important a game is that for China?
I think it's against Japan. It's good for the qualifying game. It's good for the semifinal, like the final game. So I think we just play by our level, and I think we like play with Japan. I think they are so strong in this qualifying the teams. So we want to play with them and get more confidence and comfortable. Mm-hmm.
Thanks very much, and good luck for the rest of the week.
Thank you.
Well, the thoughts of the winning skip Bingyu Wang, and clearly she thinks that confidence is key this week, and they're looking good going into the playoffs. China defeated Italy here in draw 6 to move to a perfect 5-0, and that's it from the BLZ Arena. Join us for more coverage later on, and a big thank you from myself, Logan Gray, and Daniel Herberg. Thanks for watching.